Um, one of the things I want to do, I want to make this class session very, very interactive and fun for everybody, regardless of your technical experience. Even if you've never done anything in IT, my goal is that you'll be able to understand everything we are learning because you're committing the time to it. I'll take an analogy to explain some of the things I want you all to understand. Before we get into the concept of cloud computing and even the cloud, I want to explain it in using different concepts. All right. Now, every organization, especially tech organization, or what we call software companies, right? I'm sure everybody here must have heard about software company or tech company, a technology-based company, right? Now, once you hear the word tech, you're talking about group of people who sit down close to the computer and press some buttons and perform some operations to solve a particular problem, right? Now, every organization, all right, every organization, let's take this to be a company, okay? So this is a company. Every company has different departments, okay? Different departments. Now, we can have one department here, we can have another department, we can have another department, okay? Now, most of the times, this department, this could be HR, this particular one could be finance, this particular one could be finance, you understand? And interestingly, this one could also be the IT department, okay? The IT department, all of the same company, okay? The goal is to solve a problem. The goal is to solve a problem, okay? If you decide you want to have a business or you already have an existing business, a gaming company or a fashion designing company, right? Or as a tailor, you want to grow your business to become a, a well-known fashion designer, okay? Now, the goal is to build a company, right? And the goal of this department is to have structure and to organize everything, right? Now, remember, our goal, our focus is the IT department, okay? So based on our analogy, let's take this to be a gaming company, okay? A gaming company that has different departments. One of the departments is called the IT department. All right. There are different people here, different people here. We have the IT departments. Now, there are different kind of people that we can find in an IT department. All right. Different type of professionals. Okay. One of them, okay, are people we call programmers. Okay. If you ever hear the word programmer before, or even software engineer, okay, you may have heard about this before. Let's reduce this. Okay, so you may have programmer, software engineer, or sometimes there's also some group of people we call designers. Okay, now there are a group of people we also call QA, or what we call testers. Okay, there's some people we call database admins. Okay, so now the most important thing I want you to understand is there are different roles or professionals here. Do you understand? These are different professionals that we have here. Okay, now these professionals, they perform different kinds of operations. All right, different kind of operations. The goal of my explanation is to give you a big picture of what is happening in a company. Okay? The goal is to give you a big picture of what is happening in a company. All right? In the IT department, we have different kinds of professionals. So let's assume that there is a client. So I'm going to come here and say user clip art. Okay. Now, let's say we have a client here, okay? And this client needs a game. He needs to build a game, all right? Now, he decides to contact our company. Do you understand? And this company has different engineers, okay? So we have, first of all, we have the CEO, all right? And we also have the founders, okay? The founders might not necessarily be the CEO, but let's just keep it like this, all right? And say it could be CEO or founder. But please, if you're understanding my analogy so far, can you just react with your emojis just to be sure you're getting it? Please, if you understand every analogies, okay, great, great, awesome. Now, so this person is going to contact the CEO, all right? Let's put it like this. And then the CEO will talk to his team. Do you understand? Will talk to his team. All right. Now, of course, different people they will have to make some payments or initial payments, and the finance department will be the one to take the money, right? And keep somewhere. And then the CEO and the business developer will be the one to go and talk to the IT director, okay? And the IT director will understand the requirements of this user, okay? So this is the user or the customer. Now, this IT department or IT director will come to talk to his team of engineers. Okay, because these are all the people, engineers, designers, testers, database admin, and many others. Okay, there are many others. I didn't put cyber security. Okay, there are so many of them. All of them, they are in the IT department. Okay, now all together, they will put together their skill sets to build a software or to build an application. Okay, so the goal of all these people, okay, is to follow a set of what we call SDLC, what they call software development life cycle. Okay, once they follow that cycle, the goal is to make sure that they have an app. Okay, the goal is to have an application. All right, that's the end goal, such that this user will be able to test the application. Did you get the analogy? I'll take it again so that we can all piece it together. So this is a random user or a customer, all right? This is a customer, okay? Customer. Let's call him Chief Abiola, all right? So Chief Abiola is the customer, and he needs a gaming application, right? And he decides to contact the CEOs and founders. Maybe he decides to contact me. Do you understand? He decides to contact me. Let me put my name here. I like that word. CEO and co-founder. It sounds nice. So he decides to contact me, and we discussed, right? And we had a date we were going to discuss further so that we can gather the requirements from him. Okay. Now, when we discuss and gather the requirements, the next thing we did was, of course, with the help of the business developer and other technical or architects. I don't want to go so deep so that I don't confuse anybody. Okay. I'm just trying to paint a picture. All right. Please let us know if you're getting confused. All right. So with the help of those professionals, we will gather all the requirements from this customer. We'll take it to our company. Of course, the IT department are the one responsible for building the solution our customer wants, and the IT department has several professionals there. programmers, engineers, or what we call coders, designers, this basic options, and so on, product managers, and so forth. Some masters, the rest, they are all in the department. Now, the goal of all these people is with the hand of the director, right? They will put together their skills and for mentors. There's something we call a software development life cycle. Okay, software development life cycle. I'm trying my best now to be faster than you, or what it looks like. Okay, now, but there's more to it, but we don't focus it so I don't confuse you. But if you want to read for, you can go Google for software development lives of software. Don't confuse it. Let's take the goal that time back of your thing called development, like all with this of it being
Sorry, sir. Your line is breaking, sir, from my end.
It's breaking here too.
We can't hear you. I can hear
Same
you,
here.
sir. We can't hear you.
okay. I'm sure you all can hear me now. Is it better now?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it's
clear, sir.
okay now.
All right. At some point I kept quiet, so maybe that's why you felt you didn't hear me. All right. So I usually just take some little pause. I do some little pause so that I'll be able to ensure that you all can get my points together. All right. So this is the entire picture, okay, that software companies follow whenever they want to build an application. Now, it might not be a gaming application. It could even be a fashion designing, okay? Now, but what happens? Let's let's dig deeper and understand something, okay? First of all, these designers, right? How do they do this thing, right? I want to explain something. First of all, they have an idea. Their job is to get an idea, okay, and translate that idea, okay, into a prototype. Okay, there's something we call prototype, or let me say, is to convert that idea to a product. Let me try not to use too much technical terminology so that I don't confuse anybody. Okay, the goal is to convert your idea into a product. Okay, I'm sure every one of you are familiar with YouTube. Every one of you are familiar with LinkedIn. Every one of you are familiar with Twitter, Telegram. These are special applications. All right. It's a product. It's a product. And if you go to a website called Product Hunt, you see different developer or different founders. Whenever somebody builds a new product, okay, and they want to make it popular or they want to get people's opinion, this is a beautiful platform where they usually document it. All right. I just wanted to show you this. We're not going to focus on this, but there's so many products here. Okay. So remember, I said you will have an idea. Okay. The goal is to translate this idea into what? A product. Okay. So everything the customer gives my company is an idea. So we collect those ideas in form of requirements. Okay, we require this. I want this. I want this. I want this in my website. I want this in my website. The website should have red color. The website should have this color, and all those beautiful ideas. Okay, so the goal is to translate that idea into a product that users can engage and interact with. Okay, now remember that if the product is ready, right? Once the product is ready, the users can now access it. All right. Once the product is ready, the users can now access it. Now, let's do a simple demo, a very quick demo within a very short time. I want to believe that everybody on this call, if there are only 20 persons that has not installed VS Code. And I think I can work with the remaining 100. So if you have not installed VS Code, no problem. It's not difficult. Please watch the video. We've recorded how to do that. All you need to do is just type VS and you type code and you get something like this. And you click here and you follow the instructions on how to download it. All right. I don't want to repeat that again so we can save time or maximize time because there's so many things we need to cover. All right. So friends, I want to do a big demo, right? I call it big demo because it could wow some of you that has not done it before. All right, so let's open something called VS Code. Or before then, on my computer system, take notes. This is the computer PC. I'm using Windows computer. I will go to the desktop location, and click on it. All right. I have so many folders. Please don't bother yourself about it. Okay. There's so many folders, so many files. I'm just minimizing it so that you don't get distracted. All right. By all the whole files and folders there. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to create a folder. How do I do that? I'll click on new and click on folder. I love doing things very fast. I will press Control and Shift and press N on my computer. Okay. Control Shift N is going to create a folder. Can you see the folder I created here? See it down here. All right. It's the same thing as clicking here. All right. I think it's a network issue. If you're patient enough, it's going to show. I'm still sharing my screen. Please be patient. All right. I'm sure you will see it. So
sorry, Mr. Frederick.
Now,
could you check
ahead,
if
please.
there are people? Could you check if there are people at the lobby? I think there are some of them at the lobby waiting to be admitted.
I think they are always been admitted so far from. I think she's admitting them.
It could be their network then. It could be their network.
Exactly. It could be their network. Once they have a network issue, it will take them out, or sometimes it lags before they can come in.
Okay.
But so far, I think she has been letting them in. Okay. All right, friends, let's proceed. That's why I said we would have locked the session, because I mean, if I locked it, it means nobody will not be hearing the sounds, because I mean, we've gone 30 minutes in, but it's fine. Let's take today as a good day. It's always a good day, so let's just show mercy today, right? So what I want to do is to demonstrate something that happens. All right. I will go to my PC. On the desktop, I created a new folder. Okay. If you want to do it again, click on this and just say new folder. You can choose any location of your choice. It mustn't be desktop. It can be on downloads. It can be in videos, or it could be in my documents. Okay. You can go to documents and create a folder there. You decide where you want it to be. All right. So if I choose documents, this is where I am, right? I can click on this and choose folder, whichever one. This is a new folder. You see that? So I can call it AWS dash cloud projects. I'll just open. So I just created a folder and called it AWS cloud project. I hope this did not confuse anybody. If this is your very first time, all right? I'm sure you should be familiar creating a folder. Now, inside this empty folder, if you have installed VS Code like I instructed, if you right click here, you will, if you're using Windows 11, you might not see the option here, but you see show more options. But if you're using Windows 10 or Windows 8, it will still
Let's
work.
see your screen again.
I think it's just user. Just be patient a little bit. It will show. All right. I think it's a network thing. Just to confirm, please, can you all react if you can see my screen? Just react if you can see my screen.
I can see it from here.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you all for your patience. Now, this is a new folder. All right. So if I right click here, I'll click on show more options. Now, can we all see open with code? This is what I'm interested in. Open with code. Did you see it? Open with code. I will click on it. Now, when I click on it, it's going to pop up a window. Did you see that? This is what it popped up. This is the window it popped up. All right. And you can see something here. This is what I did. I only right clicked here. And from the option here, I selected open with code. Now, some of you might ask me, what if I don't have open with code? How do I do it? No problem. I have you. So let me show you what to do. Just type VS Code. Open your normal Windows Explorer, right? Open your Windows Explorer if you're using Windows, all right? And type code, all right? If you type code, you should be able to see VS Code there, all right? Just click on open, all right? Now, or you can click on new window, and it's going to open a new blank window, all right? Please, this is for only those who did not see open with code here, all right? Now, if you have this, you can close this welcome page, all right? Close the welcome page. Click on this, or let me expand it. You're going to see this button here, file, okay? Click on the file button, all right? And proceed to click open folder. Can you see this? Open folder. I'll take it again. Click on file, you click on open folder. And then from this dialog box that just popped up here, go to the location where you created the folder. I created it in documents. See that? And this is the folder I created. Is it not true? AWS Cloud Project. You open it. Can you see what I did? I'll take it slowly. I know, so sorry. So just once you pop up the folder, right? You should be
Hello, Mr. Frederick. Can you start from where you?
We can't hear you. Is it okay? We can't hear you. I personally can't hear you.
Can you hear me, madam? It should be better now. Apologies. I actually muted myself thinking I was
Yeah.
talking. Yes, thank you so much for letting me know. So this is what
Please,
it is.
can you
I created
take it back again, please. How you created the
created a
documents,
folder.
please.
I created a folder here. Okay. Everybody knows how to create a folder. You can right click and say new and say folder. It will create a folder for you. Or you can click new and say folder. It will create one. Or you press Control plus Shift plus N. It will create a folder. I'm sure Mac users know how to create a folder. They are the big boys and big ladies. So they are professionals. So now, but if you're confused using Mac, please let us know. All right. Now, once I create this folder, I opened it. All right. The next thing I did, this folder is empty. You can right click here. From the results here, this is a context menu. When I right click on this blank space, right click, this is an empty folder. I right click on it, you will see open with code. Open with code. And if you have installed VS Code, you should be able to see VS Code. You should be able to see this. This is what I had. Okay. That's all. Now, just stop there if you've done that. I'm saying this in case you right click here and you do not see open with code. How do you do it? This is the instructions I said you should follow. First method, press the window button on your keyboard. Now, whenever I say window button on your keyboard, I'm sure Windows users should be familiar with this by now. So if I say, let me just show that so that you see it. Good, see it here. So
What
this
is demonstration?
once you
I've
see
not
this
been seeing
symbol,
them.
once you see this symbol, this is the Windows key. All right. So whenever I say press the window button on your keyboard, this is what I'm referring to. Okay. So I will press the window button on my keyboard right now, and this search bar pops up. All I need to do is to type code, C-O-D-E. When I type code, it shows me this result. All right. Can you see Visual Studio Code? If you cannot see this, it means you have not installed Visual Studio Code. Kindly stop and refer back to previous videos, okay? Or just drop a message in the challenge channel and someone will guide you or send you a video that will guide you on how to install Visual Studio Code. Now, when you see this, click on New Window. When you click on New Window, it will pop up and show you Visual Studio Code. All right. What I ask you to do next is either you click on Open Folder or you click on File and choose Open Folder. I hope this makes sense. When you select Open Folder, remember that you created a folder. Remember that you created a folder in this location. Don't forget. And I created it inside Documents. You can create it anywhere, but just remember where you created it. Let's go back to VS Code. So when I click on Open Folder, it will show me this pop-up. All I need to do is to select Documents, okay? And then this is the folder I created. You see that? That's all. Then I'll click on Select Folder. You see, it does the same thing. So this result I have here would be the same thing with what I did before, okay? I hope we are all on the same page right now. So we've all opened this. Friends, if you have opened this folder, the next step I want you to take, is we are going to create a file. All right. Did you see this plus sign? Now, I can choose to create a file here by right clicking and selecting new and creating a text file, but I will not. I repeat, I am not following this step. Rather, on my Visual Studio Code, which is a beautiful editor, it's a text editor or a modern text editor, which we can use to write code. All right. Don't worry about the definitions for now. All right. So we're going to use this tool, this software called Visual Studio Code, to write some codes. I hope this makes sense to everybody. I want to believe the answer is yes. Just so that we can save time, I will proceed. I'll click on this first icon. The first icon is, if you hover your cursor on this, as you hover your cursor on this, please can you mute yourself if you're just joining? I encourage you to mute yourself, all right, so that we can retain the order. So I will click on this button here, New File or New File, whichever one. Now click on New File. It shows me a box here. I will just type index. Index. Did you see what I type? INDEX. Index dot HTML. Did you see that? Index dot HTML. Okay, if you're following alongside with me, this is what I'm doing. Index.html. I'll click outside. All right. Remember, my cursor is blinking. Watch the insertion point, and you can see it's blinking. All right. It's blinking. But if I click my cursor outside, you see, it shows me this file. This is the file here. This file here is opened here. I can close it. So if I click on this, it opens here. If I close it, this is how it is. I click on this, it opens here. I can close it. I click on it, it opens here. I hope we're good with that. Let's move on. Next thing. So inside here, I'm going to do something. On my keyboard, there's something we call exclamation. All right. There's a key called exclamation. It's usually on the number 1 key. All right. If you check your keyboard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a key called exclamation. Exclamation. So you can, on that 1 key, hold down your shift key and press the exclamation. Shift and press 1. It's going to show exclamation like this. All right. Hold down shift and press 1, and it's going to give you exclamation like this. Now, if you can see something like this, just hit it. Now, all you need to do is don't touch anything. Just click on the first one. If you click on this first one, it's going to show you something like this. All right. Now, you don't need to follow alongside. Okay. If you think my pace is too fast, just pay rapt attention. You can always watch the video later. All right. So the goal is to understand, not just to follow along and get confused. All right. The goal is to seek understanding. All right. Now, all I did was to use a dummy code. I'll remove this and do it again. So I press exclamation. You see that? And then I click on the first one, or I hit enter. It gives me this. Good. Now line 6. If you watch line 6, you're going to see title there. Title. Did you see that? Good. I'm going to remove this document there. Backspace to remove it. And I will type Chief Abula's gaming app. Did you see what I did? So that's what I put as the title inside the title tag. Don't worry, we're not teaching you HTML. Just follow alongside. Okay. Now, this is just the simple thing I did. Now, I'm going to come to line 9, and click here. Okay. I'll just click on H. If I type H, I see this. I'll click on this. You're going to see something like this. In case it doesn't pop up, just type it. All right. Now, the only thing I will type is welcome to the latest gaming app. You understand? So this is all I did. Now, if you have done exactly what I did, you will notice something. If you watch the top section here, you will see there's a white button here. There's a white button here. Okay. Whenever I hover my cursor here, you see that you see X. But if I remove my cursor, you see white. Now, anytime it's showing you this white dot here, white dot, it means you've not saved this document. You've not saved it. Just like your normal notepad or document or Microsoft Word. Anytime you type something, you need to save it. All right? Good. So anytime you see the white dot, it means you've not saved it. All right? Now, how do I save this? All I need to do is to click on File and click Word, Save, or you press Ctrl+S. So going forward, I will always use Ctrl+S just to save time. All right. But for now, I'm showing you that if you click on Save or press Ctrl+S, it's going to save this. I hope this makes sense to everybody. Ctrl+S, I've saved. Now, let's move on so that we'll be very fast now. So I want to do something. All I need to do at this point is if I right click here, there's something called Open with Live Server. Now, some of you will not see this on your computers, on your option. If you right click, how did I get that? I right click on this document, right click on it. You see Open with Live Server. You cannot see it. Now, how do you get it? All you need to do to get this Open with Live Server feature on your context menu, all you need to do is to click on this button here called Extensions. Did you see that? This is extension. Just click on it. Now, you might not see all the things like I have here. All right. This installed is just showing me all the things I have installed here. Okay. Now, but on your own case, it could be empty. All right. So use this search bar here. Okay. The search bar and simply type live server. Did you see that? Make sure, if in case you're watching this video at a later time, you need to have internet connection, else this will not display. All right. So now when you see live server, please choose the first option. Okay. Now click on it. You're going to see 52 million plus as the number of person, or this tool or extension has been downloaded 52 million times. All right. 52 million times. Now, you can see that mine is telling me uninstall because I already installed it. Okay. So if you're following alongside with me, please click on install. Okay. Install so that you can install this live server. All right. Now, having installed this live server, it's going to take few seconds depending on the speed of your computer. All right. Now, once it's done installing, all you need to do, all right, is to close this page here. All right. Just wait for it a few more seconds or a minute. It will install. Please ensure you mute yourself. Okay. Please, let's mute ourselves. All right. So now, once this is done, close this page, right? Now, I'm going to click back here. Okay, this is where we were, extension. Take your cursor and click back here, which is called the Explorer. Click here, the Explorer. Takes you back to this. This is the extension. This is the Explorer. I hope it's making sense. So good. Right now, I will right-click this page. You will see Open with Live Server. If you've installed it, click on it. And if you wait a few seconds, you're going to see something like this. Did you see? This is telling us that Chief Abiola's gaming app. Welcome to the latest gaming app. Do you see that? So let's assume that this is what our team has done. Let's go back to this. So let's assume that this is what my team has done so far. The app is ready. Okay. So our goal is to build something that Chief Abula can access. All right. So we've built something. Okay. Of course, it needs a lot of improvements because this is not the final result. Okay. Now, Chief Abula needs to access it. Okay. Or maybe Chief Abula accessed it somehow, which we just sent Chief Abula a screenshot. Okay. A screenshot of this and say it's done. And Chief Abiola was like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. Okay, I need a different color. I need some little tweaking on this. I said, okay, no problem. So the team will go back, right, and try to do something. So I'm going to come here and just do something like BG. And so I've done something. I'll type, I typed something here and I'll press Control S. Control S. Now, if I come here, did you notice the color has changed? Oh my God. And so maybe I now sent it to Chief Abiola and Chief Abiola was like, yes, he's okay with this color, right? Now, if this is your first time doing something like this, this is your first HTML code, all right? Now, remember that Chief Abiola needs to see this code. Is it not true? Chief Abiola needs to see the application. What we sent to Chief Abiola was just the screenshot, okay? Just the screenshot. Now, if we send this link here, okay? If I copy this link right now and come to the chat box, okay? Now, of course, some of you cannot see this, right? The chat box, but from the watching my screen, you should be able to see this. Now, if I paste this here and hit enter, now, supposedly, you all saw this link, right? Or you know what? Let me see if I can open my, it's just that if I open Telegram, it means I will always be getting pop-ups. Yeah. So just so that I don't get it disordered, right? Now, the most important thing you all should know is that if you click on this link from your end, it will not open. Okay. If I send this link to the customer, Chief Abula, Chief Abula will not be able to access this page. You know what? Let me try it. I'll still close Telegram. I'll just share it with you so that you can see it from your end. So I'll just come here and okay, this is it. Relevant links. I'll just come here. So okay, let me go to general and paste it there. Okay. So any of you watching this recording, watching this session right now, can click on this link from your end. You will notice, you will think you're supposed to see something like this, but you will not. Okay. So let me close this. Let me close this. I will click here. Please let me know if you all are experiencing any technical issue. Let me know if you're experiencing any technical issue. You can't hear me. Can one person unmute himself and let me know? Because I'm seeing some complaints. Can one person unmute themselves and let me know?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Not
Thank you so much.
issue.
Thank you.
Just a bit of lagging.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure that
I can hear you.
it's going to be better
It's just
for
that
the
the video
recording.
is very lagging.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll try to slow my pace so that I can keep up with, probably it's a network issue from my end. I strongly apologize for that. All right. So, but I think majority of you all can still hear me. So now, but I'm sure the recording will be great because the session is being recorded. So it's going to be great. So
Yes,
don't worry, you
we'll
guys.
have,
If it means
we'll have much questions after
it's
the
fine. Don't
recording.
worry, I'll take the questions. Okay, we'll take the questions. If I have to re-record this and share it to you all, I will. So don't worry yourself. Okay. Now we shared the link to Chief Abiola, right? And when you share the link to Chief Abiola will not be able to see that result. Why? Because these engineers are only doing this thing. Everything they are doing on VS Code is what we call local development. I'll say it again. Everything we are doing right here is called what? Local development. Local development. All right. Now, so it's on my local computer. Chief Abiola doesn't have access to my local computer. All right. So how can I make Chief Abiola see this? All right. That is one problem I need to fix. The second problem is this. If I do, supposedly I perform one magic, or let's say I take this, my laptop, to where Chief Abiola is, and Chief Abiola decides to watch my computer and see this. Of course, he'll be impressed with the results, but it doesn't solve the problem because Chief Abiola cannot see it from wherever he goes, except he locates me. The third problem is if this computer shuts down, it means Chief Abiola will not be able to access this application again. I hope this makes sense. So how do we solve this problem? Now, this is 3 problems I pointed out. Let me paint another picture of a 4th problem. So let's assume that Chief Abiola decides to give the link to so many users, right? Let's assume he gave it to about 1,000 people. He posted it on Twitter and like, my application is live. You understand? And over 1 million people tried to connect to it. You know, the capacity of my computer is true that my computer, I'm using 16 gig RAM and 1,000 SSD terabytes. But do you think that the capacity of my computer can handle the load or traffic? Let me make the concept simpler so that those of you that are not too technical, that are still learning this, will not get confused. Let me use another analogy, right? Imagine when someone is selling orange, right? You know, when the person is hawking the orange and you stop the person and say, wait, I want to buy orange, or I want to buy orange. The person will probably bend down and tell you to pick, right? And you can pick one. So imagine if for some reason I was passing by somewhere and I'll make an announcement and say everybody should go and take orange from the girl's tree, right? You know, people are going to rush, right? They will rush the young lady, right? Now, the tendency of destroying something is very high. Is it not true? Good. Now, what are we trying to point out here? Okay, my computer that is currently hosting, we use the word hosting, right? Hosting this application, right? Everything you see here, this is the code for it, okay? This is the source code for it, okay? The source code for it, okay? We are hosting it on this local computer. I hope this makes sense. Now, if Chief Abiola gives it to 1,000 people, my 1 million people, my computer will crash. Before you know it, let me show you something, friends. If you're using Windows, can you see something here? Something called Task Manager. I'm at the bottom. Watch the bottom. From the bottom, you should be able to see what I'm doing. Okay? The bottom, you see my... So as I hover my cursor, you see Task Manager. I'll click on it. The left side. It's going to pop up this. Now, this application gives me different metrics, right? This dashboard shows me my CPU consumption, my memory consumption, my disk utilization. All these are different utilization for my CPU, my memory, and my disk. Okay. Now from here, I can know whether my computer is going to crash or not. If 1 million people try to access this application, you will notice that this CPU metric you see here will start increasing. Okay, it will increase, and before you know it, some people's computer will start getting hot. If your computer is not strong enough, your computer could start heating up. Do you understand? Start becoming hot, right? Because the CPU, the processor, is processing very, very fast, right? It's highly utilized. Okay, so that's what happens. Some of you that may have used Google Chrome browser before, okay? If you use Google Chrome browser before, you will know that anytime you open so many tabs, okay, like I have over 1,000 tabs currently open on my computer. You understand? So many tabs open. Do you understand? Now, and this is because I have enough memory. That's why this is the rating. But for somebody that uses 4 GB RAM and maybe 1 point something gigabits or gigahertz of processor, it means their computer will be hot all the time. If you touch your computer, it will be heating up. Sometimes the fan will be making some sound. You understand? So all these things I'm trying to analyze is to tell you that this computer will crash. Okay? If this computer crash, Chief Abiola will be disappointed. And that simply means that customers will no longer be able to access Chief Abiola's application. Do you understand? So the job of the company is to host it somewhere. All right? Their job is to host it somewhere where customers can access it. Okay? And it will not be down. All the problems I mentioned, okay, such as constant availability, you understand? All the whole things I mentioned, all those problems I pointed out, we need something to solve that problem. Okay? Now, all these explanations I have done right now is what is leading us to what we call cloud computing. Cloud computing. So before I proceed, can you just react with me on just react, use your reactions to let me know if you get everything so far. Just react. Okay. Your reactions will tell me, okay, is it making sense? Okay, good. All right, thank you so much. Friends, don't worry, we are going to take all your questions, all right? patience. I will take all your questions. Thank you so much for your patience. Now, we've done the first phase, okay? We've seen a problem, right? Now, friends, the next thing we want to do right now is to host the application, right? So that we can make sure that Mr. Abula can see it anytime he wants to, okay? We can provide a URL and so on and so forth, okay? So how do we solve that problem? Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. First of all, let's do some little notes so that we can save time. Okay, because we're running out of time. So when you hear the word cloud computing, all right, so trying to find this. Yeah. So now let's just to save time. If I come here, I'm going to just use either Wikipedia definition or I'll click on cloud computing. Now, I don't. Okay, good. This is a good definition. I don't want to make it so cumbersome. There's so many definitions out there. Okay, so many definitions. Now, if you watch here, friends, you'll see that cloud computing is the delivery of different services through the internet, which includes tools and applications like data storage, servers, database, and networking. Did you see that? Now, what exactly does this mean? What exactly does this mean? Let me break it down further so that you understand something, because some of you have installed or have created your AWS accounts, right? Now, there are so many other cloud service providers, but we want to solve this problem, okay? So let's the process of storing data and accessing resources through the internet. Through the internet. Now, first of all, let's bring this. Just to be sure that you all can still hear me, because okay, great. So the process of storing data and accessing resources through the internet. Another way I can define this is this. Let's put or and say cloud computing is defined as the storing and accessing of data and computing resources using the internet.
You done?
So this is the definition, okay? Cloud computing is simply defined as the storing and accessing of data and computing resources using the internet. So that this will make more sense to you all. Friends, imagine some of you, regardless of your country, where you're connecting from and where you're located, you know there are big companies out there, right? Some of you are accessing this session through the internet. So there's such a thing as internet service providers, okay? ISP, internet service providers, okay? So these people are responsible for providing internet access to you, right? Without them, you can be able to access the internet, okay? Even though that the internet is actually a huge cable under the seabed. If I say internet submarine cable, let me show you what I mean. Friends, can you see this big gigantic cable? Okay, this thing you see here is what is responsible for the internet across the entire world. Okay, now, of course, there are other forms of technology across both wireless technology and the rest of them, satellites and the rest of them. Okay, but for within the scope of our learning, okay, this is what we call the internet submarine cable. This gigantic cable connects countries to and so on and so forth. Okay, you can refer to this link. We're going to share this link. Okay, at a later time, you can refer to submarinecablemap.com and you will see more about it. This is still loading. Okay, for some reason, it's still loading because it takes time. All right, good. It's still loading. So across different countries, all these things you see here are different cables. All right. Now, all it's showing is those cables I talked about, right? How they are being interconnected across from one country to another country, okay? All made possible by some huge companies. If you watch here, you're going to see huge companies, all right, that provides all this possibility. If you watch here, you can see all of them. But that's not where the focus of this session is, all right, so that we don't get distracted. Now, I want you to understand that these internet service providers, right, they make it possible for you to access the internet. Why? Because they have a lot of money, right? They have the capacity, right, to ensure that you can connect. They have strong fiber cables, right, that they can connect to this seabed and move across different regions to the point that it can connect you to your location. You understand? From where you are to the seabed, wirelessly using different forms of technologies, right? You are receiving internet. If you have to go and buy your own cable, a fiber optic cable, right, and say you want to go and connect it under the seabed for your own personal internet, not just that it's going to be expensive, the bandwidth allocation, you may not even be allowed, right? Because you may not have the authorization or clearance for it. Do you understand? So that's why we have internet service providers who go as an organization with license and so on, right? And then once they take care of it, they will be able to break down the network such that you can be able to access it from house to house by connecting to them. And they will be the one to connect you to other parts of the world. Okay? That's how the internet works. Okay? Now, friends, how does this relate with what I'm explaining right now? There is such a thing as CSP, which is called Cloud Service Providers. Okay? Cloud Service Providers. Okay? Now, AWS is one of them. IBM is one of them. IBM. Google GCP is one of them. Azure, Microsoft Azure is one of them. You understand? Linode is one of them. Oracle is one of them. You understand? Yes, DigitalOcean. There are so many of them. Alibaba Cloud. There are so many cloud providers out there. So many cloud providers out there. But remember, which means that these people are providing cloud services. If internet service providers are providing internet services, cloud service providers are providing what? Cloud services. Okay. Now remember that we have a problem from this architecture that we have here. Okay, we had a problem here that we could not solve for Mr. Abula, okay, as a company. All right. So we now decided to go and contact one of these cloud service providers. Okay. One of the benefits of the cloud service provider is this. For example, AWS, right? They have huge servers. Okay. So let me make this very, very detailed for you all. So first of all, remember the definition. Cloud computing is defined as the storing and accessing of data and computing resources using the internet. Okay? Computing resources could be many things. All right? Now, but anywhere you can store and access data over the internet, okay, we can refer to it as the cloud. Some people, in simple words, refer to the word cloud as somebody else's computer. The cloud is somebody else's computer. Do we understand this? The cloud is somebody else's computer. Somebody else's computer. All right? Now, a big company called AWS, all right? This company called AWS, owned by Jeff Bezos. I hope I'm correct with the spelling. In the year 2006, all right, he has so much money, okay? He has a huge, gigantic company, all right? He now went to go and he built what we call data centers. He built data center. He built what we call a data center. What do I mean by a data center? A big building, okay? Data centers, okay? He built a big building, okay? And inside this big building, there are so many computers inside it. So many computers inside it. Do you understand? So many computers inside it. So many computers. And each of these computers is like times 100 or times 10 of what I was using to give Mr. Abula. Does that make sense to you? Each computer that Chief Bezos has in his data center, he has about 1,000 or even 10,000 computers in one big data center. Okay, let me show you an image. Maybe this will stick better. So I'll come here. Some of you must have seen it before. Data center. This is what I'm talking about. Have you seen this kind of image before? Where you see a big company that looks like this. Sometimes you might see it in movies, right? This kind of big buildings, right? Now, of course, the physical structure, the way this thing looks, it does not look like your laptop or your desktop, okay? The layout, or what we call form factor, okay? The way it looks is different from the physical computer that is in your house, okay? The looks is different. We call it form factor, all right? So it looks different. This is what I'm talking about, okay? These are different types of servers, okay? These are servers connected with different cables, okay? So AWS has something as huge as this, friends, okay? If you watch this, you're going to see a kind of location, okay? A remote location building that has thousands and thousands of computers connected with wires together. You must have seen movies like that, Okay, so all these things you see here are big computers. Okay, now the reason why it looks flat like this, you see the way it looks. Let me show you a simple one so that you can understand. If I come here and say form saver, I'll type server form factor. Yeah, good. So I'm sure some of you have seen this, or you can see this, right? Let me click on it so you can see it better. So these are different form factors. Okay, so if you go to some of those servers, that data center that I showed you, some of them are looking like this in a rack. Those big square that looks like a box is it's called a rack, and inside it there are different servers. Okay, this is a blade server, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to confuse you, friends. Can you all please, can we mute ourselves? All right. So now these are different form factors, right? Remember we're talking about servers. Okay, so Chief Bezos went to buy big data centers, okay, and told. So imagine he didn't just build one big data center with different computers inside. What Chief Bezos did is this. Chief Bezos decided that he was going to build another one. Do you understand? He built exactly what we have here. He duplicated it across different parts of the world. Do you understand? Across different parts of the world. So let me show you something quickly. If you come here and type AWS region, okay, let's just do this. Come here. I'll just show you something. Global infrastructure. We're going to explain all this later. I'll try my best to be slow and steady so that it can make sense. Now, I'm going to share all these links that I'm opening. All right. Don't worry about the links. I will share all of them to you all. Okay. So if you watch this, let's click on the first page. Sorry. Overview. All right. So good. So if you watch this, you're going to see that AWS has what we call 33 regions. I want you to see the word region as a country. Okay. Region to be country. Okay. So in 33 countries, okay, about 33 countries, AWS has data centers. And not just in each of these 33, AWS has, not really each, but in a total of AWS has 105 availability zone. In other words, so this doesn't confuse you, in 33 countries, AWS has 105 data centers. I want you to see the word availability zone as data center. Okay, so remember the picture I gave you about a data center, which is something like this that has big computers in it. So AWS now said to remember the problem we are trying to solve. AWS now says to my company, Achiever, as the CEO, Achiever, do you know what? You don't need to stress yourself, okay? You can connect, we can give you one of our server. We can rent one of our server to you, okay? We can rent one of our server to you. You can store and access your data and also compute anything you want to do. All you need to do is just to connect to us via the internet. Okay? So immediately Jeff Bezos said this to us. We now decided, oh, this is possible. We can connect to what is it called? We can connect to Chief Bezos' computer. All right. Now, but that would be possible. We can build our app, but remember, all those things will be made possible by connecting to Chief Bezos' computer. I hope this is making sense to everybody. Okay, so with this right now, we are able to connect. So we store the code in Chief. Once we rent we rent a server on Chief Bezos' computer, right? We can now store anything we want here. And Chief Bezos designed it in a way such that we will now have something we call an IP. An IP. Okay? Once we have that IP, I can now provide it to who? Chief Abula. And Chief Abula will be able to access it. And one of the benefits that AWS is providing for me, that they are renting their servers for me. Okay. There are so many things they are providing for me. So many things. I will list one of so many of them, which we can call the advantages of cloud computing. Okay. All the advantages of what AWS is providing for me. Okay. Computing. One of them that he's providing for me is what I can call unlimited storage capacity. Okay. So I can store as many things as possible. My physical computer right now is using 1 terabyte SSD. 1 terabyte SSD. But friends, as you're watching this drive, I'm sure you can see it's 28 GB remaining. It's already showing red. So this cannot solve the problem. Okay? So if I rent Chief Bezos' computer, Chief Bezos is responsible for increasing the size. I don't need to worry about it. He has already guaranteed that I will have unlimited storage capacity. So I don't need to bother myself. I hope this makes sense. Second thing that Chief Bezos is promising is that I will pay. So that's what we call pay as you go. Okay? In other words, it's only when you need it, whenever you use the service, my service, that is when you pay for it. Okay? Pay as you go, which is also another way of saying services are pay per usage. Okay? That's just what this means. Okay? Now, there are so many other advantages. So many other advantages. So many of them. Now, let's put the third one. I'll come here. 3. There's something we call OPEX and CAPEX, but I'll just not use those terminologies right now so that I don't confuse you all. But there's what I'll call it low maintenance cost. Okay, so you don't need to worry yourself. AWS tells me that they'll be the one to maintain everything. So I'll just be paying for the ratio of the renting. For instance, some of you that created your AWS account, do you know that you can create an EC2 instance? There's a service AWS has called EC2. Okay, you can create a server on AWS, and AWS is not going to charge you because they've given you, for every new account, AWS gives you 12 months free access, especially, of course, terms and conditions apply, right? So it's low maintenance costs. Do you understand? So all these things are the advantages of cloud computing. There are so many of them, okay? So many of them, but I think I'll just limit it to just these 3, okay? I'll send a document to explain some other things so that we can save time, okay? Now, let me do a quick recap so that everybody can make sense with what we are explaining. Remember, the big picture is that Chief Abula wanted a gaming application. He contacted Achiever, who owns a gaming company with different departments. In his IT department, he has so many people working with him. They used the SDLC approach to build the application. And I demoed how the application would be built using VS Code, right? And we all saw Chief Abula's gaming application. But quickly we realized that this URL or address, what we call web address, we cannot share Mr. Abiola this link because this is only limited to my computer. All right. So there were a lot of problems. One of them is the URL. That's the web address. The second one is, what if my computer crashes? You understand? It means that Mr. Abiola will no longer be able to access the application. So what if the customers that is accessing the application becomes enormous? Mr. Abiola will no longer be able to access the application. So we started looking for how to solve that problem. Then we heard about some people called cloud service providers. Okay, cloud service providers. And one of them is called AWS. And I said there are so many other cloud service providers: AWS, IBM, GCP, Azure, Linode. All these cloud service providers performs or helps us with cloud services. They can be used to store and access data and other computing resources using the internet. Okay? And one of the services that they offer is server. They provide what we call servers. Okay? They can provide database, they can provide networking, they can provide security, they can provide servers. Remember, I said there were cloud service providers. So one of the service can be server renting. Another service can be database renting. Another one can be networking. Another one can be security. So many services. Okay. But right now, the only one we wanted is their server renting. And I was trying to explain to you all that the way AWS does theirs, which is owned by someone called Jeff Bezos, in the year 2006, AWS was born, right? Now, they have big buildings all over the world, not necessarily all over the world, but about 33 countries, okay? And they have 105 data centers in 33 countries, okay? Data centers that are big like this. And I told you one data center can have about 1,000 or more computers in them, okay? And if you agree with me, one of these computers, the size can be very, very large. It can be using 500 terabytes. Remember, my own computer is using 1 terabyte. People are using 500 GB. My own is 1 terabyte, which is 2 times of 500 GB. AWS could be using 500 terabytes for just one computer in their data center. So imagine if they have 1,000 of it. Friends, let me ask you all a question. Do you know that every time you open Google, this is Google, right? Every time you open Google and ask yourself, who is Jeff Bezos, right? So I just opened Google and I searched this result. Is it not true? Now, but I'm not interested in the result. Friends, do you know that over 100 million users? Let's ask the question. How many users uses Google search engine? So per day. So friends, can you see 8.5 billion searches per day? And so, of course, you can read down and understand so many things. So if there are 8.5 billion searches per day, it means that there are so many, over 1 million people are using Google per day. My question to you is this: do you think it's only one computer, one physical computer like your own somewhere, Do you think it's one physical computer like your own? Let me see. PC. So imagine, let's say this is a computer, right? Yes, this is a PC. So imagine that this PC, yeah, imagine this PC is what Google is using. You think it's only one computer that is responding to all this 8.5 billion searches? The answer is no. The answer is no. There are so many computers across the company in different data centers that are connected together in a network. We're going to talk about all those things later, all right? They are connected together, okay? So those computers respond to different people. Now, let me do something, then go back to what I'm explaining. Friends, do you know that I'm going to do something? Let's press our search bar again. You see, search bar. I mean the Windows menu, okay? And what I want you to type here is Git, okay? When you type Git, you're going to see Git bash, okay? Git bash. I'm sure everybody has installed it. So I'm going to click on this Git bash right now. Now, if you have something like this, I'm going to hold Control and press plus, all right? Plus on the keyboard. Now, friends, this is something I want to show you all. Now, do you know that if I type ping, there's something we call ping. Ping is a way of saying hello. In the IT world, whenever you want to say somebody hello, we use the word ping, okay? And the person will tell you pong. It's like saying hi, and the person says hello, hi, hello, ping pong. You understand? So if I want to ping Google, for instance, so ping www.google.com. Friends, did you know that if I do this, let me expand this. I'm going to click on this to expand it. Control plus to increase the size. Control on the keyboard and plus. So if I do ping www.google.com and I hit enter, did you see something? I'm getting a reply. Friends, did you all see what happened? Ping www.google.com. Did you see I got some results? Don't worry if you cannot understand what's going on here. The only thing I want you to see right now is this. Can you see this thing here? This thing right here is Google's IP. If you agree with me, if everybody decides to paste their own IP, this is called an IP address. If everybody decides to start pasting their own, you will realize that this IP is different for almost more than half of us, because the computer that has this IP that is responding to me is different from the computer that is responding to you. Do you remember what I said to you? That Google has many computers that is responding. So when we see something like 8.5 billion searches, it means there are several computers that are responding. I hope the picture it's making sense to every one of us. So remember, that is the reason for what we call a data center that has so many computers in it. Please, I hope this makes sense to everybody. Okay, so these are so many computers in a data center. So Google, just like AWS has its data center with so many computers, Google also have their own data center. I can prove it by coming here and supposing I just want to search. So I'll just come here and say Google data center. So click on images. So if I click on this, you see different things. Of course, you can click on the link so that you can read more if you want to read more and so that you can know. But I doubt if you will know the physical location because they don't reveal those kind of details. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, good. Now, I'm sure that everybody understands that the same way Google as a big company has their own data center, other companies have. Some companies that can afford it. To have a data center is very expensive, very, very expensive. Okay, you need to buy a big land. Okay, a big land. You need to buy big generators. You need to buy cooling systems like ACs, cooling systems that will be running 24/7. I don't know if you've ever read somewhere, if you're in Nigeria, you heard about Nigeria having one of their data center, right? I don't know what happened to the project. I don't know if it's still scaling but it's very expensive to run a data center. Okay? So that's the big picture I'm trying to paint for you all so that you can understand what we are trying to say. Okay? Now, let's continue. So now that we've seen that this AWS will be able to solve our problem. So which means right now we can be able to do everything we want to do. Okay. So all the things I showed us down here are the advantages. There are so many more, so many more. Okay. But I'm not going to dwell on this. So one thing I want to talk about is there are different types of cloud, okay, or what we call different types of cloud. Now, if you read some documents, they will call it deployment models, okay, deployment models, cloud deployment models. But I don't want to confuse you with those terminologies. All right, just know that there are different types of cloud. Okay, one of them is what we call the public cloud. All right. Another one is what we call the private cloud, which is also called the corporate cloud. And then we have another one which we call the hybrid cloud. There's actually a fourth one, community cloud, but I'll just limit it to these three. Okay. So these are the types of cloud that we have. Okay. So a public cloud is a type of cloud that is meant for the public. Okay. For the public. And AWS falls under this one. Okay. AWS is a public cloud provider. All right. I hope this makes sense to everybody. Okay. AWS is a public cloud provider. All these popular ones that you've heard of, they are all public cloud providers. Okay. So anybody from anywhere can use it. All right. Now, if I'll take your questions later, I can still explain deeper into this, but let's just take it at surface level right now. Okay. Now, the next thing we have here is the private cloud. Okay. Now, this type of cloud are what is it called? Sorry. This type of cloud is what organizations use. For instance, banks. You understand? An example of one of them is called OpenStack. Okay. This is what some banks or some organizations use. Some big organizations or governments use. Governments can have their own data center, okay, where they are storing their own information that is not accessible to the cloud, to the public. So you cannot just go there and say you want to rent their server, no, or you want to use their services, no. It's not accessible to you. Do you understand? So that is a private cloud, okay, is deployed in a private way, okay? So you just access it privately, all right? So this is what we call a private cloud. I hope this makes sense to everybody, please. Now, the next thing.
Also, how mentioned, one more advantage, whatever the data you are storing on the cloud environment, or that data it is provided in the system. It is provided secure. Those are some of the advantages I have mentioned using the cloud computing. Fine. Now, sir, what type of deployment models are supported in the cloud computing?
What is happening? What is happening?
Types of clouds. We also call it as a cloud deployment model. Cloud deployment model. The cloud computing it is providing the 4 types of deployment models.
Please, who is trying to hack our tutor?
Something just happened right now. What happened, please?
I think Mr. Frederick is muted. I don't know. Mr. Frederick.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I think somebody tried to not necessarily to hack, but I guess the person unmuted himself and the person was playing something on the background.
I guess so.
So that's what happened. I apologize, everybody. So let's continue.
Mr. Frederick, please.
Yes, please.
Please, I just want to tell you that time has gone, for most people that will resume to work tomorrow. Just
Abula, no now.
Just
Time
10 o'clock.
has not gone.
This is just 10 o'clock.
Okay,
Please,
Time has not
the
gone.
private cloud,
Okay.
your explanation is a bit not on point for the private cloud.
No, the class
Okay.
is so much interesting.
All right, guys, no problem. Just give me some time. I'll just wrap it up. I'm about wrapping up, okay? I'm about wrapping up. All right, so let's continue. Now, friends, remember, I'm not going deep into all this explanation so that I can give you full detail of the explanation. I can always do that now, but I just want to be able to touch the surface. Okay. Then when the time comes, we'll go dive deeper into more explanation. Okay. Now, we've talked about the public cloud. We've talked about the private cloud, which some people can also call on-premise. Okay. Which is like, okay, let me not go into the explanation just right now. So this is private cloud. This is hybrid cloud. All right. Just know that the hybrid cloud is a combination of the private and the public. For instance, I'll give you a practical example. A bank, for instance, right, can choose to have their own data center, or they have their own network, huge computers all connected together, right? And they set up something such that people remotely can still connect. They have a kind of intranet, a kind of network whereby they can all connect to it. If you've ever been to a bank before, whereby you want to withdraw money and you hear something like, there's no network. There's no network. And you look at your phone and you're like, there's network. Which network? You'll be wondering, there's no network. How? I have network on my phone. The person will be telling you there's no network. Now, that is just trying to let you know their internal network, right, could be down. Okay. So they have a kind of setup, right, whereby they can access some certain kind of resources that is not open to the public. All right. That is what we can describe as a private cloud. All right. Now, sometimes they may want to also store some of their files that they may not be using immediately. All right. In platforms like AWS, okay? If they want to store those kind of resources on platforms like AWS, whereby they will access the files later, okay? And remember that AWS is public and they also have private. So if an organization is using private and public at the same time, we refer to it as what? Hybrid cloud, or what some people call multi-cloud, okay? I'm just trying to keep it very, very simple so that I don't dive so deep into it. All right. Now, this is the concept of what happens in organization. If you remember, if you're in Nigeria, you remember the concept of the election, right? And you see that sometimes election files sometimes can be stored in a data service, right? Nigeria used AWS S3 service to store their data. All right. So it's not like what is it called, the INEC committee do not have their own network where they can store some data that you cannot access. It's possible they have their own internal private network or cloud data center there that is not available to the public, but there are still some files they may decide to store on the public cloud. It all depends on how they decide to deploy it, okay, based on the resources available to them or accessible to them. Now, this is the popular types of cloud services we have. All right. Now, The last thing I will show you here, then we just touch a little bit on AWS console and then we end the session. Okay, I have less than 15 or 10 minutes to wrap up the session. All right, so the next thing I will touch here is what we call types of cloud delivery, or what we call the cloud delivery method. Okay, so I will not touch the definitions. I will just tell you that there's something we call, in case you hear about this, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So let's 2, 3. So let me just limit it to these 3 because there are so many of them. These days, there are so many of them. All right. So we have what we call, this is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay. Now I may touch on this later on. Okay. Later on. Just know that every service provided by the cloud can fall under one or more of these categories. Okay. In terms of delivery, you don't need to bother yourself about this right now, okay? But I just want you to know that there is such a thing as IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, okay? There's such a thing as platform as a service. And there's such a thing as software as a service. All right? There's so many others, okay? But we'll just focus on this 3. Just know that cloud services can be delivered in one or 2 or 3 of these platforms. All right? It could come as if infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service. Okay? Now, the only one I'll just give you this example is software as a service. For instance, Gmail. Okay? Gmail. Now, Gmail is something that you don't need to, how do I put it? You don't need to create the software. You don't need to set up anything. All you need to do is just open Gmail. If you just come here and just type Gmail, right? Automatically, you're going to get access to Gmail and you can be able to compose a message and send. Do you understand? You'll be able to compose message and send. Why? Because this is, what is it called? I don't know, this is lagging. Okay, so let's just continue. For some reason, it's lagging, it's not loading faster. So, but automatically that app will just give you access and ability to send email. It's already configured, okay? I'm trying my best to use simple, relatable, day-to-day examples that we can relate with, okay? So that I don't use too much technical things to confuse you all right? Now, let's go into the interesting aspect of today's class, which we will build upon by next week, which is AWS. All these things I mentioned here are all the benefits that the cloud will provide. You understand? And among all the cloud service providers, we decide to go with AWS to be able to solve the problem for Chief Abula. You understand? So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the cloud service provider we will be using is called AWS. Let me open it, which is here. Okay, it's AWS. So this is AWS. Opening AWS is very simple. Chief Abiola asked us to do a demo. This is not difficult for any of you that has not created the account. This is all you need to have clicked. Okay. I know signing up might not be easy for some of you. I will try my best to be available on Friday, okay, for a 2-hour session. Okay, so I'm going to just give us some breakdown, some things that will be happening. Fridays is going to be our troubleshooting and review session, okay? so that anybody who has any technical issue, any explanation required, okay, if I'm not able to respond to you on any other day, Fridays for 2 hours, we'll be able to maybe 1 to 2 hours, we'll be able to allocate time to resolve any of those technical issues. Do you understand? So please, if you need to create an account on AWS, this is how you need to do it. Okay. So friends, I will spend
Friday,
time.
sir?
I will communicate the time to us. Okay. Please, I will.
Okay,
I will.
thank you.
I would have said the same 8:30, but I'll just discuss with Chief Abiola. Then once we agree on the same good time, then I'll let you all know. Okay. So this is AWS. I will still tell you all how to use this free tier so that you don't exceed it and you will not be charged. Okay. But please just click on this to create the free account. It's now I may not be able to walk you through all the steps because it might require me to enter some credit card details. Okay. But this is the only page you're going to get. All right. For everybody that has created an account, I know some people are having issues. Okay. For some reason, it's I don't know why it's like it locked me in. All right. So again, I'll look into the case for those people that has AWS access issue. All right, and then we'll be able to solve it all together. All right. So as you all can see, just for this month alone, $14 has been spent because to become very, very good and gain competence and mastery, you need to practice and build a lot of stuff. For next month, this is the estimated forecast. Do you understand? Now, you may not use as much services like I do. Okay? You may not use as much services like I do. So don't worry yourself. Within the explanation, within the class, okay, what we'll be teaching you all, you are not even expected to use as much as, I don't think if you are charged for any reason, I don't expect it to exceed $5. That's if you will be charged. All right. If you stick to the free tier. Okay. So this is how AWS looks like. Now it will differ for different persons. The UI will always change. Okay. This UI changes for different persons. Somebody asked me the question. My own is looking different. Can you see reset to default layout? If I click on this and click on reset, let's see if it's going to change. Let me see. Okay, I don't think it changed, but AWS usually have different UIs, but please don't worry yourself, okay? For the barest minimum, this is how AWS looks like. And if you click here, you see so many services, okay? I want to honor Chief Abiola and not exceed. If you allow me, I'll keep teaching for the next 4 or 5 hours, okay? So, but just so that I don't give you information of overload, right? These are all the services AWS has, okay? So many services, okay? In our next class, we'll be learning about IAM and we'll be learning on how we can be able to create budgets and do so many things, okay? So in the next class, but between now and the next class, I may share a video for you all so that you need to understand how this IAM user works, because some of you might be tempted to do something. Now, there's what we call, okay, I think I need to say this so that just because I don't want anybody to make any mistake. There's what we call the root user and there's what we call the IAM user. I'll say it again. There's what we call the root user. There's what we call the IAM user. All right. Whenever you create an AWS account, the first user that has access to it is called the root account. I'm not explaining anything, but I just want you to just understand this difference right now so that you'll be very, very careful. Very, very careful. All right. Please, right now, if you can see your name, right, the name you use in creating an account, that account you're using is called the root account. Okay, the root account. All right. Now, I don't want you to touch anything. Just walk through with me. I'm going to show you how to. Okay, I think there's no time. Maybe I'll just send a video to explain that so that we don't stay longer than this. Yeah, we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much, everybody. And I think I will now start taking questions. Yeah. let's stop for today. All right, so let's take questions. So please, if you have questions, kindly put your hands up, and then I'll try to take 10, and then take the other ones on the channel either today or tomorrow. My family still needs me. So okay, let's take the questions one after the other. Mr. Millicent, go ahead, please. Would you kindly unmute yourself? Okay. Mr. Millicent, are you there? Do you have a question?
Yes,
okay, you were the
I have
first
a
person.
question. Good.
All
good
right. Okay, Mrs.
evening.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, madam. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
so my question was that when you were explaining about Mr. Abiola,
Chief
and then
Abiola. Chief.
yes, Chief Abiola, yeah, you sent in a link. You sent in a link to the
Yes, madam, I did.
group. But in your explanation, I wasn't supposed to be able to open that link, but it opened. The only difference was that it did not give me that colored background. So
And it did not also give you the page, exactly what it did not give you the page of what I typed. Did it?
it gave me yes, I saw the page. So I don't know whether it's because I also have
It's because
VS
you
Code.
also practice with me. It's because you practiced with me. Okay. So
Okay.
just to quickly answer your question, right?
Yeah.
First of all, the 127.0.0.1 is what we call the loop back. Okay. So it's like it's more like the interface, your computer's IP. Okay, not necessarily your computer's IP per se. It's what we call the loopback address. Okay, it's an IP that your computer will always refer back to. Okay, so 127.0.0.1 is configured on virtually all computers except it's disabled, right? It's configured on all computers. All right. Now, if you noticed, mine also have something we called a port, even though I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to dwell on it. You notice that there's port 5500. This is called a port.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's possible that this is not the port that is opened on your own. It could be possible that's the one opened on your own as well, because you and I are doing virtually the same thing.
Same things.
You understand?
Okay.
Good. So that's one of the reasons. But if you take it to somebody else that never did all these things we did, you just see this page cannot be found, or you just get a weird error. Do you understand?
Okay.
Exactly. So this is like an internal IP, or what we can call a private IP. And I don't want to call it a private IP necessarily in a network per se. You understand? But again, I don't want to go beyond the level of the class so that I don't confuse anybody. But I'm sure you understand the reason why.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. If you want to know further,
Thank
you can
very
always
much.
ask me a question later. You're welcome,
Okay.
madam. All right. Okay. So the next person, Mr. OG, go ahead with your question, please.
Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for the class. Excellent job. I want to suggest that, like now, you talked about several things that some persons don't know about. Is it possible for
Would you
to
want to
give?
mention a few of them so that we can always
Okay, like
document
now,
it
this explanation you just did on networking right now about the loop back address, for instance, then also the types of cloud computing and the various services like IaaS, PS, and SaaS, and all of those things. Now, is it possible for you to also give us, like, say, okay, research on this, research on this,
external
research
resource?
on this?
Yes, of course. It will definitely
So,
come.
so that we'll now read and get better understanding of what you are telling us. Because
Yes,
just in
it's
a
actually part
class,
of the
we
thing.
cannot understand all those things. Some people, at least some people, will not really understand what you are saying until they go back and go through it.
Okay. Okay.
That's my
Thank you so
suggestion.
much.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
a
so
beautiful
much.
class.
Thank you. Thank you. We actually, okay, just so that I can say something a little bit. So there are so many things we've designed, right, to support, because it's true that, in fact, as you all can see, I didn't even know when the 2 hours just came and is almost going, right? I was just teaching. And like I said, if you allow me in the next 4 hours, I'll still be teaching and I will not be aware, right? Now, as long as you all are still flowing, because I'm always big person about feedback. As long as you can still get me, you understand, and you're following, I'm literally going to continue, except you want me to stop. But of course, it's always good to stop at a particular place so that you don't get diminishing return. You understand? But we will put together all the resources, some of the links I opened, right? Some of the external resources. Now, if you check, it's true that we've created a channel for it, but if you also check, initially I had dropped a drive. I don't know. I dropped the drive on the channel, Telegram channel, whereby we put some things there. Okay. So for some of them you don't find on the Telegram, you will always find it here. Okay. Mr. Abiola has created several channels, right? That's going to have some of these resources. If you're watching this video, you've not seen it before, please, if you watch here, this is the channel. And if you watch here, you see relevant links and external resources. Okay, so I will put some of them here. And if for any reason, because of this so much information you see here, I'm also going to drop it. If you watch here, you're going to see resources. Okay, I'm going to drop it here. Okay, any video, I'll drop it here. Links, I'll drop it here. Books, I'll drop it here. Okay, so I've shared this page before, but I could do that again now so that in case you've not seen it before, you can always get access to it. All right. Anyone with a link can view, of course. That's it. So I hope that answers the question Mr. Oji answered. Okay, let's take the next person. All right. Mrs. Bilikisu, I hope I pronounced it correct. Will you kindly go ahead, unmute yourself and say something if you have a question?
Good evening, Mr. Frederick.
Thank you so much, madam.
Very much for all you have been doing.
You're welcome.
Wonderful presentation. And my question is in three folds. First, I want to, you made mention of AWS as a cloud service provider. So as a cloud, you said one of the services that AWS renders has to do with cloud server rentage. So as a cloud, are we limited to providing, helping people that wants, like people that has a product, you said from idea to product, people that already has a product and they want to rent a server on the cloud. As a cloud engineer, it's the only job that a cloud engineer does, as in helping them to host their product on AWS server. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to ask.
Okay, I will reiterate your question and please correct me if I'm wrong. So what your question was, I made emphasis on a feature or service that AWS or cloud service providers provide, which is renting servers, okay? Renting virtual servers to people. So you are asking, is it possible as a cloud engineer that you can utilize this service to also rent other, you can rent the server and use it to host other people's products on this server? That's how I understood it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, let's assume we have an app. Somebody, a client has an app, and the person rents a space on the cloud with as a cloud engineer. Is it the only work that a cloud engineer does, as in to help people that has a product to rent a server to host it on? Is that the only thing?
One amongst many others. So it's now it may sound like the word rent there is just like buying you just getting access to the server. Now the configuration, the installation and deployment, all those things is part of the engineering skills of the cloud engineer. You understand how the process, all the whole skills, techniques required in moving that app of your friend or your customer to AWS server. All the skills required is part of the engineering, the skills of a cloud engineer. Does that make sense?
Yes. My number two question.
Okay, madam.
Only about app. How about this? How does hosting domains? How does it relate to rentage of server? That is my question number 2. Number 3, I sometimes heard about hosting my domain on Cloudflare. What is the relationship of Cloudflare with this AWS server we are talking about?
All right. Just so that we can maximize time, Matt, these 2 questions you asked are very intelligent and I truly appreciate them. Now, but these questions are actually factored into the one, I think either the 3rd module or the 4th one, right? Where we talked about Route 53 and the rest of them. You understand? That's where we start talking about DNS, name mapping, and so on and so forth. Okay. But just know that when you hear the word okay, for instance, what we have here is where's our illustration here? Good. What we have here is Chief Abiola's application, right? So if at the end of the day Chief Abiola is satisfied, we decide to host it and give Chief Abiola something we created a domain. Okay. There are companies whose job is to sell domains. Okay. Domains. Don't worry. So at this point, this is just the protocol. Again, I'm trying my best not to put in so many things. Okay. So, but this is how a web address looks like. Abiola app.com. Okay. So this is a beautiful web address, what we call web address or URL. Okay, universal resource locator. Now, of course, this can be broken down into different things: the protocol, the subdomain, the domain, and the extension, or what we can call top level domain. But I don't want to confuse you at this level. I want to take it slow and steady when we get to that point. But what I want you to know is these domains you see here, for example, your name, Mrs. Bilikisu. Now, if you want to have, you have an application and you want to use Bilikisu as your domain, right? You will need to go to a company like Cloudflare. Cloudflare provides different services. One of them is domain hosting. Okay, you can go to them to host your domains as well and also do different kinds of things. There are other services they provide. Okay, so GoDaddy, Namecheap, Host, Hostinger, all these are domain service providers. Okay, you go there from the search bar. Okay, now there's so many things to do. So, but again, we will touch on this things when the time comes. Okay, so you just come here and type the domain you want. You're going to see a charge on it, and if you can afford it, you pay for it, and you will become the new owner of that domain. And it's possible your name has been taken already. So if you can buy it, fine. For instance, Twitter was not Twitter, is now referred to as x.com. Somebody owned the x.com domain and Elon Musk paid for it. And I'm sure that person made a lot of money selling his domain. You understand? And yeah, so I don't want to go into that, but madam, I'm sure I've been able to at least give you insight or address the question. So we'll dive deeper when we get to that model. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome, madam. All right. So who's the next person? Mrs. Eletu Aziz, if I'm correct. Eletu Aziz Omolade. Would you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Frederick.
You're welcome, sir.
It has been a very enlightening session. May God bless you for this. Actually,
thank you very much.
My question is this. Before now, I used to think that when I hear of cloud storage, I used to think that maybe it's somewhere, maybe like your data is stored somewhere, like that is not physical. So I used to feel like it is safe wherever it is from maybe natural disaster like fire outbreak or something like that. But hearing tonight from you that there are physical data centers where this data are actually stored, I have been kind of worried that it means if those centers are physical centers, like a building has different servers in it, it means it's not completely safe from natural disaster, say maybe due to flooding or let's say fire outbreak, and that, though it may not be within the purview of maybe probably the engineer to provide the safety measures. But I'm just kind of worried. That's on the one hand. I may be wrong, but you correct me. That's why I decided to ask this question. Then secondly, you mentioned that one of the benefits of that it is pay as you go. So now saying pay as you go, does it mean for example, if I have some data stored on AWS cloud, for example, if I don't do anything apart from the fact that it is just stored there for that storage, whenever does it mean I don't have to pay anything for the period it is being stored unless I want to perform another service, so to say, or transaction? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Aziz. So that's a very smart and intelligent question. I'll start from the latter. So the first question, the latter question, if you have services, if you don't proceed with your usage, or for instance, you just create the account and you don't do anything, will you still be charged? Will you still incur charges, right? Now, it depends on what you did, actually. Now, you could create the account, and for instance, there are different kinds of services again. There are computing services, okay? There are data services. For instance, you can create a service on AWS, which can help you to store your data. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard about Google Drive. Many of you have heard about Dropbox. Many of you have heard about different platforms, or iCloud, where you can store your pictures and store your important files. OneDrive. Those are clouds as well. But the difference is they are for instance, OneDrive is on Microsoft's cloud, okay, in their data servers. They stored it there, all right? iCloud is on Apple's computers. It's stored up there. Do you understand? Now, AWS has a service called S3. S3, Simple Storage Service, is used for storing files. Do you understand? Now, before now, if you create a bucket, there's something we call a bucket where you can store files. Okay, if you create a bucket, even if that bucket is empty and you don't put anything inside, you can incur charges, even if it's empty. So it's better you didn't create any bucket at all. So this is for data storage. Now let's talk about the renting of servers, for instance, EC2, for instance. If you create an EC2 instance, like a server, okay? But for now, some of you may not understand what I mean by EC2 instance, but if you rent a server, tell AWS, I want to rent a server. They'll tell you, okay, use one of our service called EC2 to get a server, a virtual server. Now, if you follow the steps and create an instance of a virtual server called EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. Now, once you create that server and you don't touch it again, or you don't log in, as long as you've clicked on start and you started the server, if you like, don't touch it. If you like, touch it. It will keep reading and the bills will keep piling up. You understand? The only thing you need to do is to terminate it and destroy it. Do you understand? So, in a nutshell, if you don't create any service, you will not be billed. Okay? It's called pay as you go. Okay? If you are ready to go, you begin to pay. Of course, there are other models or pricing, what we call pricing models. Okay? But again, for now, it's not within the scope of what we are learning right now. Okay? So, but these are part of the benefits that the cloud is bringing to you. And that is why they are telling you that you can trust them. So coming to your first question, which is why should I trust the cloud service providers with my resources? What is the guarantee that disaster and the rest will not happen to them? Remember, these people spent thousands of or what we call millions and trillions of dollars to buy big buildings, data centers, and have big computers, and invited you to come and use their service. Now, there are a lot of benefits they are bringing to the table. Okay. Now, if they've not considered this, I don't think they will be inviting you in the first place. Okay. One of the uniqueness is what we call high availability. There's also something we call fault tolerance. Fault tolerance. In other words, if something happened, you've heard about what we call a data center, or from what I've said, I've mentioned data center, a big building with so many computers. So why do you think they have so many data centers everywhere? Underneath the ground, okay, somehow or wirelessly, each data centers are connected together. Okay, so there's what we call high availability, okay, or what we call cross region and the rest of them, whereby if the information you store, like for instance, you tell AWS to store something, for instance, okay, AWS is going to store it for you. Okay, one of the benefits that comes with the cloud is they can store that information in another data center without telling you. So if the physical servers in data center A gets burnt due to fire outbreak, mass destruction, physical destruction, or any form of disaster, right? Your data is going to be available at the other server. Okay, that's what we call high availability. You understand? So these are part of the promises or what we call SLA agreements that cloud services brings to the table and tell you this service can hold your data for this period of time. We're going to dive deep into some of them and I'll explain further, but I'm sure this has addressed your question.
Very well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Babatunde Obafemi, would you say something?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Obafemi.
Hello.
I think I can hear you. Yes, please. You're more audible now. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I've written my questions down, but because of the time, we'll be very fast at it. The only thing that is bothering me, I think you've cleared it, was the fact that creating these AWS accounts, is there a correct charge, maybe per month or regularly?
No.
That will come from it.
No.
Okay. Then
as long as you don't have any
2.
service, running, you will not be charged. That's why I'm encouraging everybody, please just follow the pace of the class. Don't try to go ahead if you're not confident with your skills yet. Don't click anything to create anything if you're not confident with your skills. Just follow the class step by step and we'll get to that point. So as long as you follow this step, you're not incurring any charge at the end of the month, at the end of the week. No. So for the next 12 months, you have free tier services access. Go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah. So just 3 questions. I'm going to say very fast. Then, how much of program do you have to know during the course of that are going to do during the course of cloud computing? Then 2, what industry? Okay, you mentioned the industry, but how do we monetize our skills? Then 3, you said something that it seems very serious. You said something about root user and asset user. You seem very pertinent about that. I just want to know what is really about, sir. Thank you.
Okay. At this point of the class, I will encourage everybody to just hold on. Okay. Not to I could create an extra video to guide you all on how to create an IAM user. Okay. So just look forward, expect a video from me. Okay. So that will address that user issue before we get to the class section and talk about it. Now, the second one, as regards freelance and the rest, I'm sure we have planned for it. We'll still talk about this later on, okay? myself and Mr. Abiola will address those concerns. Okay. Now, the first question, if I'm correct, you ask, please remind me again
How
the
much of
question.
programming?
How much of
How much of
programming you
programming are we
want?
going to do? Like,
Okay, so the truth is this,
yeah,
because we are not programmers. Okay, this
okay.
program is assuming that you're not a programmer. All right, so you will not be required to do any programming. Now, of course, we will majorly be doing copying and pasting, but in the process of it, I will expect you to be learning how to read the code. Majority of the time, you'll be learning how to read the code, and by learning how to read the code, you're ultimately learning how to code. Okay. At least if you've not done anything about coding, today, for the very first time, some of you have seen HTML code. May not understand everything that is here, but at least you know that they put it inside something called H1 and I can see the text. That's all. If I come here, and say, let's put something like Macri, and I do something like, let's do something like this and say left, and I say breaking news. We are live. Let's say this is what I did here, right? Now let's go to our app again. So can you see this breaking news here? You understand? Now somebody will be like, oh my God, this is interesting. Now, so for some person that has done programming before, they'll be like, to them, this is nothing. You understand? But somebody will like mark you. Okay. So if you want to learn something like this HTML and the rest, you need to go to a platform called W3 Schools. Chief Abiola has shared a lot of resources. If you all can always utilize the resources, you can learn more. But if you're not a video person, you can use this platform. All the things we did today, some of them are here. You can go through this material step by step if you want to learn more about HTML. Okay, you can practice alongside and you'll be good. So our class will be focused on more of reading of code than teaching you how to code. Okay, and if there's need for us to do any coding, I will let you know. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, Mr. Babatunde. All right, Mr. Victor, go ahead with your question, please.
Say we will not sleep, Uni.
Hello, Mr. Victor, are you there? Do you have a
Good
question?
evening, Mr. Frederick.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Mr. Frederick. Good evening, everyone. I so much appreciate your teaching and thank you for that. Before I go ahead, I want to send my condolences to you. I saw the message on the group and I tried to also reach out to you to a text message. You must be a strong person. Doesn't even show in your voice, doesn't even show in any of your activities. And I envy that inner strength from you. And I so much appreciate your teaching. So most of my question has been answered. My challenge is this AWS creating the account has been an issue to me. Creating the account is actually very simple, like ABC. But then on the process of verifying my card, that is where I'm getting stuck. I try virtually my First Bank, my Kuda, my MoneyPoint, Zenith Bank, all of them, none of them is working. And all this card has been activated on Google Pay. So I don't know what's the issue. So that is the only challenge I'm having presently. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. Thank you for your kind words. And I probably must have wiped my tears, and so nobody can even see my eyes to know if I'm still crying. And maybe it's because I'm so passionate about teaching, and so
in fact,
it still
I envy that
stems
inner
out.
strength from you.
So thank you so much. Thank
It's
you so
not
much.
easy.
And I'm excited that you all showed up. So that showing up is what makes me feel like, okay, I need to give my best. So regarding your question, I could reach out. This is what will happen, right? Would you kindly send a DM to Miss Vivian, right? One of the persons working with us, okay? She's providing support, right? And she's the admin. So you can send a DM to her right? She can walk you through on how to do it, okay? And perhaps I think you made mention about bank issues, right? Now, from my understanding, I know that some banks block some people from performing some kind of online transaction. So you need to go to talk to the bank for them to disable something for you to be able to perform some of those operations. Okay. For some other persons, they don't need any of those challenges. Okay. They don't need to go to the bank. It works for them smoothly. So, but if you know you've gone to the bank and you know it's not a bank issue, right? And you've tried every other means and it's not working, we have a plan. I could create a user account for you that you will use for this program. Okay. So that's why I said you should reach out to her to register this concern. Once you've done your own part and you're sure you've contacted your bank and the rest, everything is not done, then let us know. We'll know how to take it up from there. All right. I hope that makes sense.
All right, sir.
All right,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Victor.
much.
Thank you so much. And do have a good night rest. All right, Mr. Jafar or Mrs. Jafar, I'm not sure. Please pardon me. Mr. Jafar Musa, are you there? Hello, Mr. Jafar, are you there? All right. Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frederick. It was indeed an you would keep elevating you more like if Abiola. This is a common opportunity, but here we are learning together. And as the former person I just asked, as a consultant, I'm also as well. May God grant you more patience and give you more strength to lead this task you carry. That is all from me, and thank you, Mr. Omalaja. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Jaffa, for your kind words. Thank you, thank you. I know you're being thankful. I didn't hear some other things because of the fluctuation, but thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you so much. All right. Hello, Abba, Mr. Mrs. Abba. Would you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? I think that's the last person. Then I'll pass a final announcement and we'll wrap it up. Okay. Please don't go if you're still here. Just a few announcements and then we'll wrap it up. If you're still here, few announcements, then we'll wrap it up. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Abba. Do you still have a question? Would you want to unmute yourself? Okay, so I think the person is no longer there, so I maybe forgot. All right, so this is what I want.
Sorry. And then, sorry, Mr. Frederick, is AWS, is it the root user are going to maintain, or the IAM?
It's actually the IAM, but for now, not everybody knows about this. That's why I'm saying expect a video from me to give you more clarifications. All right. For now, just leave the accounts the way it is. You've created it, and let's just move slow and steady. All right. So that some people don't feel get confused because of the way information is disseminated. Okay. Please. Thank you so much for the question. All right. So friends, this is the few announcement I want to pass, please. Okay. This is just day one, all right, of week one. Okay. So there's supposed to be another session. Our next class is going to be next week. From all indication, our next class is going to be, I think there's a question from Hola, but just give me a few minutes, please. Our next class is going to be next week, Monday. From the updates I got, the classes are Monday and Wednesday. All right, Monday and Wednesday, and it's 8:30 to 10 o'clock or 8:30 to 10:30. For now, let's leave it at 10:30. If there's any reason, we could adjust it. Okay. Now, importantly, right, there's going to be a lot of project documentation and video creation. We're going to pass this announcement to every one of you, okay? Because there's expectations we have from you all, okay? Now, first of all, there are two types of expectations. One, expectations you have from us and expectation we have from you. I mention it again, two types of expectations. Expectations from us and expectations from you, okay? Now, what should you expect from us? Okay, at the end of this class, between now and tomorrow, you should expect the link for the recording. Okay, the link for the recording. You should expect the links for the resources. Okay, the links for the resources. 3, you should expect a quiz from us. I said again, you should expect a quiz from us. A quiz from us. 4thly, you should expect either a documentation or a slide for some of the things we touched on, for some of them. Okay, so I mentioned 4 things. One of them is a link for recording. I'm saying it so that in case you are not active on Telegram, you don't miss the information because of how many persons typed. Okay, 4 things. One of them is the link for recording. The second one is the link for resources. The third one is the quiz, and the fourth one is either a documentation or a slide. So those are the 4 things you should expect from us. Hold us accountable to give you that after every session. All right. Now, what do we expect from you after every session or every week? 1, over time, we're going to tell you more about this. We're going to create a channel where we expect everybody to create a YouTube channel. Everybody is supposed to create a YouTube channel. I repeat, everybody is supposed to create a YouTube channel. All right. Now, we will create a channel where you will just drop the link of your YouTube. Okay. Or we'll create a form whereby we expect you to just submit your YouTube channel. Okay. Now, we'll tell you what you need to do, because at the end of every week, right, we expect you to be able to create a documentation. Okay. A documentation. You will be taught on how to create a documentation or how to create a video. 2 things, either a documentation or a video. For instance, I taught you all the concept of how softwares are being built, okay, or how idea is being translated to a product. Okay, I just walked you through all those demo, right? Imagine if you have to write an article on it, a technical article on it, based on what you understood on today's class, in your own words, in your own understanding, using different images you created and you see online. You understand? These are the kind of things recruiters are looking out for. These are the kind of things that tells clients that you have technical competence. They want to hear and read your thought processes. You understand? Based on the skills you've acquired. Okay. So we will expect either a documentation from you or a video where you need to explain some of these things. If you're not a video person, you can create an article. If you're not good in writing, you can create a video where you don't need to show your face. If you want to show, you can, but you're going to be talking. We will hear your voice explaining or doing some projects. Okay. Either both of them or one of them is one of the things we expect from you every week. Do you understand? Now, we will give you platforms where you will publish some of these things, because this is how recruiters and people can reach out to you. This is how you can get jobs. For some of you that asked us interesting questions like, what is the guarantee that we can get a job, or do you think we can get a job with what we'll learn from here? This is the steps. If you do not follow them, I do not think you will be guaranteed, except putting smiles on you, right? But there is tendencies that if you can follow these steps that we will be guiding and exposing you to, the odd or the chances of you gaining visibility and getting close to a recruiter or someone that can give you a job is very, very high. You understand? So that's why we're encouraging you to follow these steps. All right. So 1, you will create a YouTube channel and share with us. You will be expected to create a blog or an article, okay, or a video. Now we will, at a later time, we will share you all into different teams, maybe 5 or 10. We'll group you all into teams, because at the end of the program, you either at the end or somewhere in between, we are going to be working on some projects, and it will be you all will be grouped, and we'll be using Jira. There's something we call Jira. Okay, Jira is a collaboration tool. Jira is a collaboration tool. All right. So you'll be taught how to use it, but you'll be working together as a team. So I do not want a situation where you are grouped in a team and it looks like you don't know what's going on and your teammates don't know what's going on. Okay. So I want to encourage you to please pay rapt attention, get all the information and feedbacks you need for the program so that you can be a positive contributor to your team. Do you understand? Now, when the time comes, when we get to that point, we will now start doing what we call weekly presentations. This is and more. So remember, Fridays is when we'll be doing our troubleshooting and review sessions. Okay, so I will drop the link at a particular time. I'll let you all know the day and the time, but the day is Fridays, okay, for review and troubleshooting session. If you have questions, you can ask me. If you have any technical challenge, I can help you on Fridays, but I'll let you know the time. Okay, so I think for now, these are the information we want to pass across. And if there's any, Mr. Abula will pass across to any one of you. Okay, so yes, I think this is all I have for you all. So if you've been yet up to this moment, I really want to appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I know there's one more person that wants to ask a question, but I think at this point, if you want to leave, thank you so much. We will stop the recording right now, and this is the end of the session. Thank you so much, everybody. Hola, you have a question? Go ahead, please. You can unmute yourself.
Sorry, Mr. Yeah, thank
Hola.
you. I just want to add something, please. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Go ahead, please.
I just want to add something, please.
Okay, hold on.
When you upload,
friends, so sorry, hold on. I need to say something quickly before our friends go. I want to encourage you all, right? Just so that you can encourage us too, right? Please, can you just go on on your social media platforms, right? You can take a screenshot of our videos or what you learned today, do a summary, just put a hashtag of public building AWS cloud compute. You can tag myself and Mr. Abiola, you understand, either on LinkedIn or Twitter, so that other people can see what we are doing and so that we can spread the gospel out there. Okay, please, just we want to encourage so that we can form a community out there. Okay, please, I really want to encourage you all, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Please just write something, put a screenshot of, maybe take a snapshot of the video and put something, write something and just tag us and so on and so forth. Okay, please. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Mr. Hola. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for today's class. I just want to add that, please, when you upload videos, always consider us that we don't have enough data. Maybe you can help us to after the video, you can help us to reduce the not the quality, the size of the video, so we can download it. The size, not the quality, the size. Do you understand? So it will be easy for us to minimize our data and for we to be able to use it. You understand? Thank you very much.
I do. No problem. I'll do everything I can to see how I can manage that. All right. Thank you so much. All right, friends. Thank you, and do have a great week ahead or weekend, as the case will be.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Stop sharing. Stop recording.